What's up, everybody? Laura Sanko here, and welcome to UFC 259 Quick Hits presented by Howlerhead. I am backstage here at the UFC Apex. We have an absolutely insane star-studded card tonight, so we figured we got to kick off these quick hits with a star-studded quick hit. And so let me welcome in the folks that we're going to be talking to here. I got to start off at the top, the champ. We've got the featherweight champion, Alexander Volkanovski, joining us. I know you got a fight right around the corner. And listen, come up, so fun. I want to keep it light, but how is everything in New Zealand now with the earthquake from just a couple days ago?
Yeah, everything's I'm actually in Australia, so I'm not in New Zealand. But yeah, okay. I heard about the earthquakes, but yeah, I think everyone's doing all right over there, so they're staying strong.
Good. Good. I'm glad to hear you and everybody else are safe. That's good to hear. And of course, we have UFC Hall of Famer Forrest Griffin, one of the regulars of the Quick Hit Show. Forrest, how are you doing?
Hey, I'm great as always. Great as always. I'll be up there with you shortly.
Oh, good. Oh, good. You're gonna watch on site?
Yeah.
Perfect. We should just have you standing here. I don't know why you're so far away. And of course, we have number 12 ranked UFC strawweight Angela Hill as well. Angela, you fight next week. What are you doing here? Girl, you're busy.
I had to take a break. I had to take a break from training, unlike Alexander.
I got you. I know he's about to go train. We're going to try to keep this quick for you, Alex. First of all, I want to get your hot takes. Okay, I want to get your hottest takes. What is your hot take?
Man, well, got my boy Izzy fighting today, so I have to go with something with him. I think he can make the free champ, triple champ status. I reckon he could do it. I think John Jones, if he takes that, Izzy's going to take him on and take that belt too. So that's my hot take. What do you reckon?
You stole mine. You literally stole mine. I completely agree with you. No, it's all good. When do you think that's gonna happen? I mean, Izzy kind of threw out like December. Do you think it could happen that soon?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if it could happen that soon, especially having two divisions. But I reckon next year it could. I reckon we could maybe see that. But I don't know. I'm just saying, he's my boy, so I've got his back, and I reckon he could do it.
I love it. I love it. Forrest, I'll go to you next. What's your hot take?
Oh man, hot take. Well, man, it's really tough, this card. It's hard to bet against the favorites, but if there was anybody stylistically that has a good chance of pulling off an upset, it's Sterling. Now, granted, we've never seen anybody be able to take Jan down, but I mean that's a fight that I think is really interesting.
That's a fantastic fight, and they are dead even in the odds right now, which doesn't happen that often in championship fights, so it's super cool. Yeah, it's crazy. They're picking them at the moment.
They changed a bit. People, that late money coming in on Aljo, huh?
Yep. And Angela, how about you? What's your hot take?
I mean, I was kind of thinking of it differently. I feel like I should change mine now.
Just go with it. Whatever you got, girl, you just go.
Okay, well, I was thinking, a couple of MMA fighters have transitioned into modeling. My hot take is that Drew Dober should definitely think about transitioning into modeling because he is gorgeous.
Angela, he gets that a lot. He doesn't need that anymore. Don't tell him.
So it's not a hot take.
I said this in the show the other day. He kind of looks like Stan Smith from American Dad.
Yeah, he does.
For sure. All right.
For sure,
now, real quick,
I
don't want results. I don't want results, but I just want to hear which of the title fights that you are looking forward to the most and why. We're going to get to results in a second, so save those for me, if you will. Alex, I'll go to you first again. Which title fight are you looking at? I think I know the answer. It's kind of an obvious question.
Yeah, I think you know the answer. That's 100%. Yeah, it has to be the main event. Especially knowing that he's not the biggest middleweight, and now he's moving up, and now you really do have this power versus speed and timing and all that type of stuff. I think it's going to be very interesting, and I'm a big believer in skill and speed and all that. Power does go a long way, but I believe that timing and speed can outdo that. And this is a good example. We get to see that today. Will power, will that be too much, or will the speed and technique come through?
how about you? Which of these title fights are you most looking forward to?
Man, I really love the Izzy Yan fight. But I'm really looking forward to Amanda Nunes showing out again. Her versus Megan. I think this is a lot of people are counting Megan out, but this is the only way that she can clear out the division, that Nunes can clear out the division, is a win over her. So I'm really excited about that. I'm excited about her continuing her campaign for being like one of the greatest of all time, male and female. So I'm really looking forward to that. But obviously, Adesanya versus Yan is like very, very close second.
Absolutely. And Forrest, how about you? Oh, did we lose Forrest? Forrest, you have a. Oh, there you are. There you are. You have a. Which?
No, there's a reason why you call it the main event, right? I mean, come on, Israel. That's the easy one, right?
All right, so I want to finally get your predictions, and the last thing we're going to do, and Alex, I know you got to get going, so we'll make this quick. Real quick, we'll start with Jan versus Sterling. Who's going to get it done? And how? And then we're going to see what the fans voted real quick. So, Alex, I will go to you first. Who's going to get it done? Jan versus Sterling, and how?
Well, I've trained with Jan a fair bit. So, obviously I've got that relationship. So I'm always going to be rooting for guys I've got a relationship with. But in saying that, I've got to see the work he puts in. He's so well-rounded, and he's an athlete. He really is an athlete, and he's a scrambler. So he's one tough dude to hold down. He's so well-rounded as well. So it's going to be hard to bet against Jan. So I got Jan on that one.
All right. We'll go to you next, Forrest. Who do you have in Jan versus Sterling?
Well, yeah, that's a great question.
Thank you.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't really make a pick. I mean, it's pretty. No, so I go the other side though. I've gotten to know Sterling quite a bit at the PI. So, I would like to see Aljamain get some good luck and kind of climb to that next level.
All right, I like it. And Angela, finally to you. Who are you taking in that one?
I picked Aljo just because he's been climbing the ranks forever, it feels like. And you can kind of see that determination in him where he sees someone else who swoops in, they have a little better luck with getting those wins. And I think they're both like equally talented, equally skilled, but one person just, ended up getting the right matchups and really showing that they belong to be a champion. So I think this is finally Aljo getting what he deserves. And I'm hoping that he comes out on top. Either way, I think it's going to be a great fight. I really love Jan's style too. So, but yeah, I'm going for Aljo on this one.
I like it. So we've got 2 for Aljo, 1 for Jan, and the fans had it very close as well. Piotr Jan, 50.5% of the total. Aljamain Sterling, 49.5%. So, I mean, just absolutely razor thin there on Twitter, which I think is kind of reflected in your thoughts as well. We'll move right along. Amanda Nunes versus Megan Anderson. Angela, this is the fight you're looking forward to. I will go to you first. Who do you have in this one?
Well, I'm sorry because I know that's your girl, but I'm going with Amanda. I think she is just so good, so strong. She's powerful everywhere. I feel like she just really looks great on the ground compared to Anderson. I think Anderson's going to have a lot of proving to do when it comes to her ground game. So yeah, I think Nunes can take her down and just make it a tough night for her.
Alex, how about you? What do you think of this co-main event? Who's going to get it done?
Well, no, I know. Oh, sorry.
No, I said Alex. It's all right. You go ahead.
It was me. All right.
It was you. We've got a delay going on, so it's hard.
Okay. Well, I'm going to go with Megan. I know Megan well, and so I'm going to always back her. But obviously Amanda's she is a goat. So it's a tough fight. But I believe that Megan is saying all the right things. She knows that she is up against someone like Amanda Nunes, knows that like she is almost unbeatable, but she knows she needs to strategize. She knows she needs a good game plan. She knows she needs to stick to it. So she's saying all the right things, and for her to know that and go out there and execute a game plan, she can get the job done. So I'm happy with what she's saying, and I think she can get it done. And obviously back in the Aussie. So I'm looking forward to that one.
I like it. I appreciate the loyalty, and I appreciate you going against the grain, my man. And Forrest, how about you? How do you see this co-main event going?
Well, I've heard this Amanda Nunes. I've heard she's pretty good. She seems pretty well rounded just from the outset. She did fight Durandamy, and that was a person that I thought would give her trouble this second time, and she just turned it into a wrestling clinic. She chose like the easiest path to victory, right? The smart way to fight her. And I mean, she just got more advantages when it comes to that. But having looked at Anderson's power, she has good power. Let's see if she can get up off the ground if she does get taken down and use her range and length.
All right, so as I suspected, a few more people going the way of Amanda Nunes, 2-1 as we have it here. And let's take a look at the fans on Twitter. 81.3% going for Amanda Nunes and 18.7%, which I'll be honest, I mean, that's better than the odds makers are giving her. So I like that. Twitter's hold it down for Megan Anderson, of course, the greatest of all time. It is really hard to argue against Amanda Nunes. And finally, we've got a main event, Israel Adesanya versus Jan Blachowicz, very quickly, and then we will wrap this up. Who is going to get this done? Alex, I'll go to you.
Yeah, again, the loyalty. Yeah, I'm always going to go with my boys. Yeah, but at the same time, I am a big believer, as I said earlier, with power versus skill and timing, and I just think Israel, his distance control, his looks on the outside, for Jan to get in, it's going to be a lot harder than people think. Obviously, there is that power advantage that Jan will have, but I've got to go with Izzy. I think he'll just be too skillful in there and just really show his skill tonight. And I cannot wait.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Alex. And Angela, real quick, who do you have in the main event?
I have Izzy just because I'm a fan of his striking style. I think he just sees everything. Like you said, I feel like I'm stealing your words, but but he sees everything coming at him, and he's good at setting traps. He's good at kind of making those calculations in the middle of the round and seeing what's going to land and what he can kind of bring out of Jan, what he can force Jan to do in order to counter. So that's why I'm picking Izzy, but I think it is like this scary fight for him because Jan has like a long reach, almost as long as his, and he has that power too, and he likes to just charge forward. So yeah, I'm hoping Izzy doesn't get caught up against the fence. I feel like that's the most likely thing to happen if he does get hit or hurt. But I think he can outclass him.
And finally, Forrest, I saved you for last because this is your division. I mean, you ruled the light heavyweights for a while there in the UFC. How do you see this one going down?
Well, Jan actually isn't a huge 205er. He's relatively quick. A lot of his victories have come because of his timing and quickness. With that said, you cannot hurt what you cannot hit. And the way Israel's been fighting, nobody seems to lay gloves on the guy. So it's hard to go against him.
All right, so that's 3 for Israel. What's that?
What's the betting line on that?
I don't have it off the top of my head. I'm not really sure where that ended up. I know that Izzy was the favorite.
Yeah.
Which was, considering this is totally new weight class, I'll have to look that up for you. But on Twitter, at least, people are agreeing with you guys. 65.5% going the way of Israel Adesanya, 34.5% for the current light heavyweight champion, Jan Blachowicz. And guys, thank you so much for joining me. This has been a very star-studded quick hits. And adding to the star power, I talked to a supermodel earlier this week. I hit up Adriana Lima to get her thoughts on her very good friend, Amanda Nunes.
What's up, everybody? Laura Sanko here, and I am so excited to be joined by the most beautiful UFC fan on the planet, Brazilian supermodel and former Victoria's Secret angel, Adriana Lima. Adriana, how are you?
Great, and I'm so excited to be here talking to you, wearing my Amanda Nunes t-shirt, representing.
I see that. Well, I mean, man, UFC 259 is such an epic card, and I can't wait to talk about these fights with you. But I'm kind of dying to know, how did you become a fan of MMA to begin with?
Okay, how did I become a fan? Being born in Brazil, like jiu-jitsu and MMA is kind of part of, your culture, like
Sure.
like I grew up, listening to Anderson Silva, Cigano, and it's just part of our culture. And I always grew up like being a fan, and jiu-jitsu and etc. And then things change because all of a sudden, like the female athletes in MMA start to getting the attention, you know, and I started hearing about this girl, Amanda, and yes, and funny enough, we have like mutual friends and people that we know.
Uh-huh.
There are two ladies that Patricia and Michelle, that they actually work with Amanda. They do like her nutrition. And when I was like doing
Uh-huh.
my fashion show, they used to help me with my nutrition as well, and therapy and everything. So these two ladies introduced me to Amanda, and that was how long ago? Like maybe 4 years, 5 years ago. And then we started to hang out a few times. And this actually, she gave it to me. It was one of her gifts. This T-shirt.
That's
Yeah.
even better when the shirt that you're wearing is not just something that you bought, but something that she handed to you herself. Do you do any training yourself? Is that part of your fitness routine?
Yeah, okay. MMA, I don't train exactly how is Amanda training, but I did a few things. That's part of her training, like the kicks, the leg kicks, and a little bit
Yeah.
of boxing. I took a few classes of jiu-jitsu as well. But I don't consider like MMA training. But I would love to
But you
do. I
dabble.
would love to do. I would love to do. I would love to try.
Well, you're in a great place right now. South Florida has a lot of great training, so might have to go
I
down that
know
path.
everybody comes here for training, and I was like, I wonder why. I wonder why. Is it the weather? Is it like great coaches? Maybe it's the combination
Everything.
of all.
Yeah, I think it is the combination. And I was going through your Instagram the other night, and I saw about a year ago you were promoting some sort of like fitness boxing event, and they had you titled as Lava Girl, and I've seen you hashtag that other places. Would that be your fight name if you fought?
Yeah, that would be my name if I fought Lava Girl. Yes.
Where does that come from? How did you get that name?
Come from New York, when I was training with Michael Lajde Jr. at Aerospace New York, and he was a professional boxer, and this name he created a name for me, and then he stick to it. Like I think I've been like, he's been calling me like that for over 20 years.
I love it. Well, you're plenty hot, so I think it fits. Well, listen, you were the GOAT of Victoria's Secret Angels, the longest running Victoria's Secret Angel in the history of the Angels. And of course, Amanda Nunes is the GOAT of women's MMA. What is it about these Brazilian genes that lead to the dominance, and no matter what you're doing?
I'm so proud of Amanda because, we come from the same state in Brazil. We come from Bahia. And I think I understand, from me and her, we understand where we come from and everything that we went through to be where we are right now. And
Yeah.
I'm so proud, and that she's the best. And she's a woman, and she's strong and clever, and I cannot be prouder. I'm so proud that she's representing our state, in our country in the way she is.
She does, and she does an amazing job of representing the Brazilian people, women in sports. It's wonderful to have someone like her to look up to. And I just want to get your quick thoughts on this specific fight. She's taking on Megan Anderson in tonight's co-main event. It's a tough fight, but I mean, as you said, Amanda Nunes just so incredibly talented. What's your prediction for the fight? How do you see the fight playing out?
Okay, I'm not gonna be specific in numbers and rounds because I'm very superstitious and I'm on that. Like,
okay.
I would not. Actually, she invited me to go to a few fights. I don't go to watch fights, like in person. I don't. I don't go. I will not be there. I've been invited. I will not go. So I don't like too much to call it out numbers and shots because I'm superstitious.
We don't want to say it. We don't want to say it.
For sure, she will win. That we know. 100%.
I love it. I love it. Well, hopefully you could come up, maybe not for one of her fights, but maybe for another big fight, you can come as a guest and you guys can just hang out. And I would love to be able to meet you.
Fight where she was like next to me. I think, where was that? There was New York. I forgot who.
Is that Madison Square Garden? One of the.
Yeah, we were like sitting next to each other, but like that, I would go.
Yeah.
To watch her, no. I don't know if that makes sense.
Watching friends fight is the worst. I've done it. It's so stressful. It's nauseating, all those things. So I'm glad that you will be able to enjoy this incredible fight card from the comfort of where you are in Miami, and you won't have to be stressing out, but I'm sure you guys will talk soon after her fight tonight. So thank you so much for taking some time to join us. I really appreciate you. And I hope that maybe we can get a chance to talk to you again in the future, Adriana. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. And I hope that I will see you in one of the fights, like face to face.
Absolutely. I would love that. And guys, keep it locked in right here for more quick hits coming your way, presented by Howlerhead. We'll see you there.
What is a mom? A mom is strong.
There you go.
A mom is tireless.
A mom is focused. A mom never gives up.
A mom is brave.
A mom perseveres. A mom picks herself up
Dusts herself off.
and keeps on
Coming.
This is the next level. Look at those shots. McMahon is hurt. Have it under the chin. There's the towel. There it is. Amanda Nunes has done it. A huge win for the Brazilian tonight in Nashville. Man.
A mom crushes her goals.
It's all over. Amanda Nunes is the first female Brazilian UFC champion.
A mom shocks the world.
It's all over. Just like that.
A mom breaks down walls.
Oh! Amanda Nunes! Cyborg nearly out on her feet! Oh! Amanda Nunes! Knocks Chris Cyborg out cold! And very well right now as we sit here December 29th, 2018, can lay claim to being the greatest women's mixed martial artist of all time. What a result, Joe.
100%. She's the best ever. The fact that she just knocked out Cyborg, she's number one.
A mom.
A mom is a fighter.
International Women's Day is a great time to just celebrate the women that have made a huge impact in the world and to observe how we've become more equal in all fields, including athletics. We're starting to get more eyes on us now. And yeah, you know, it's a good time to be a woman.
I feel honored that the UFC opened the octagon for us women and represents ourselves to show the work that we have. And I feel like we women have the job to do it better every time. You know, like we see every time more we see women fighting, doing the best fights of the night. So it's an honor. It's an honor for me and to be part of the UFC in this women's history.
I hope I inspire people as a strong woman that I am, you know, did everything to get here, to get my dreams come true. If I did it, they'd be able to do as well. So if I be able to help them like that, I'm very happy about it.
I moved halfway across the world to be the best version of me possible. I literally had $1,000 to my name and a bag of clothes, and that was pretty much all I had. I would FaceTime my mom every day. Cried.
Put his head to the outside hip. Now push to create space. Yes, there you go. There, much better. Now if he tries to double off, you've got underhook.
But at the end of the day, like, I just think about what I'm doing.
Just like that.
Focusing on just staying in my lane and putting my head down and doing the work.
Anderson's stateside relocation
Megan Anderson!
landed her in the home base for Invicta.
Oh, beautiful head kick by Anderson.
An all-female promotion that has been a breeding ground for UFC greats.
The power of Megan Anderson has had the division on notice. She is one of the top prospects here at 145.
Anderson with the right. Left eye.
Yeah, she's done.
Invicta World title punched Anderson's ticket to the big show.
That's a legitimate 145-pound Invicta champion.
Where she battled the promotion's very best.
I mean, you're talking about a woman in Holly Holm who's an 18-time boxing champion, UFC bantamweight champion.
And although the big stage was daunting, Anderson would eventually find her footing.
She's improving all the time. She's believing in her skill set.
Real nice takedown by Anderson.
She could be a tough night at the office for anybody on the roster. She's just going to put it all together.
Oh, she's in the triangle.
There's the tap. Megan Anderson coming up large here back in Australia.
Now with back-to-back first-round finishes.
Oh! Megan Anderson by knockout.
Anderson has her coveted title shot with the Lioness.
Well, listen, a little bird tells me Amanda Nunes is looking to defend her title sometime soon. I'm assuming you may be interested in that.
What do you guys think? Let's go.
Buddy, Laura Stanko here, and welcome to UFC 259 Quick Hits, brought to you by Howlerhead. This is always my favorite segment. I am joined by professional sports bettor. He is the sharpest tool in the shed. Of course, I am talking about Yanni, the Greek Corrales. And Yanni, I feel like I'm seeing you everywhere. And man, I've been watching, and you are on fire, my friend.
I've been hot. I've been red hot lately in the UFC. And I'm a little worried because I'm excited for these pay-per-views, because for me, it's like a Super Bowl, honestly. Like week by week, day by day sports, I bet every single day. You kind of get sick of it. It's almost like fast forward to the final score. But with these UFC pay-per-views, it's almost like March Madness, Super Bowl, huge events. And I kind of become a fan and place more bets, I think, than I should. And I have like a drawer full of tickets. So maybe that'll be a good thing when it all the dust settles at the end of the night.
Good. Well, I'm excited for you. I mean, I can't imagine a more incredible card to have some money on the line for. And I'm so excited to talk to you about this. I want to talk about the main event, but I don't want to get into your bets on the main event quite yet. We'll get to that a little bit later when we're talking here. But I just want to discuss this main event. I mean, absolutely incredible. Israel Adesanya, the middleweight champion, going up to light heavyweight to challenge Jan Blachowicz. And I don't know about you, but I was slightly surprised to see Israel Adesanya as the favorite. Now listen, on paper, he's got all the accolades, but we are talking about 205 pounds, not 185 pounds. Doesn't that change everything?
For me, it does, because I don't have any data to back up betting him at 205. And I'm a guy who bets based on data. I don't try to predict fight outcomes, and that served me well historically. So although I've had success betting Israel Adesanya, and no one's gotten rich betting against him in the UFC or prior, yeah. It's just, you're right. We're betting on kind of the potential, not the credentials at 205. We haven't seen it at 205. We think it's there. We know it's there at 185, but we aren't for sure it's at 205. And you are laying a pretty big price to say that's going to come through. Yeah, I kind of agree with you. It did seem a little high, but listen, bettors create the market, and they seem to be backing that side, so the line isn't dropping much.
Earlier in the week, the buzz that everybody was talking about was when Israel Adesanya told ESPN that he was going to weigh in at like 193, 194. Okay, well, fast forward to weigh-ins. He weighs in at 200.5, which is still obviously pretty significantly below the light heavyweight limit. And I've got a little stat for you, Yanni. I don't know if you know this or not, but according to ESPN, light heavyweight title challengers who have weighed in at less than 202 pounds are 0-2. Now, that is not a statistically significant sample size. Right. I took stats in college. I know that, but it's there, right? Yeah. Like, what do you make of weight?
If there's a fundamental reason for a trend to continue, I think there's some validity in it. And if one fighter's bigger, fighter A is bigger than fighter B, that's a fundamental reason he may have some success. What I wasn't sure Izzy was being honest, because usually I trust the betting market, because the betting market's going to reflect news. It's going to reflect information, because there's a lot of money at stake, especially a big fight like that. And when he said he's going to be 195 and the line didn't go from minus 240 down to minus 150, you didn't see sharp bettors, wise guys saying this is a big disadvantage. Let's get on Blachowicz now. I wasn't sure it was 100% legit. And he proved it right when he came out on the scales at 205. And it seemed like sharp bettors didn't believe it either, because, again, it wasn't reflected in the price. And it seemed like everyone was kind of taking a wait and see approach.
Yeah, it's the wisdom of the crowd, and I find it so fascinating in these betting markets. All right, let's get down to some brass tacks. I want to hear where you're betting so that you can help us make some cheddar tonight. So first of all, I want to ask you, what's the best bet that we can lay on this card?
I really like Casey Kenny against Dominic Cruz, and I'm a huge Dominic Cruz fan, and he was extremely profitable for bettors for a very long time, but he's only fought twice in the last 5 years, and both were losses, Laura. And Casey Kenny's fought, what, 6-7 times since 2019 and has had a lot of success. He's got a lot of speed, and the analytics back up a nice bet, especially at minus 130, 135. I think anything less than minus 150 makes it a great bet. Again, you're going against one of the bantamweight greatest of all time, but it is 2021, and got to look to youth right there. I like Casey Kenny at minus 130 is the best bet.
He looked absolutely phenomenal in his last fight. I got to say, I think it's the best performance that we've ever seen out of him. It does seem like his trajectory is only going up. And I love having these discussions with you because I'm always like studying, right? And I'm thinking, well, man, how much does age have a factor? How much does, ring rust have a factor? And all of these different interesting X factors. I wish there was an algorithm, because if there was, I do feel like the multiplier for Dominic's resume would be massive. It has to be massive.
True. If you take a big sample size of his resume, you're right. And even the analytics support possibly backing him as an underdog. He averages 3 takedowns per 15 minutes. And that's how we saw Kenny have trouble in the past. In his loss, it was the takedowns. So if Dom could replicate that now, what he did in the past, that could be that road to success. I'm just not sure the 2021 version is capable of doing what those big sample size of analytics reflect. I kind of weigh current more heavily than the past a lot of times, especially against you.
I hear you. And listen, you've got the track record to prove it. So I'm not even going to try to argue with you on today's show. That has gotten me nowhere in the past. So let's move on. No, go ahead. What are you saying?
There's so much randomness involved in the fights. I'm just getting lucky. It's just luck.
I don't buy that for one single second. You absolutely know your stuff. You're not fooling me. All right. Let's talk about my favorite type of bet, because I'm such a casual bettor. The high risk, high reward. I want to spend a little, but I want to get a lot back in return if I win.
I think it's a great opportunity to get minus 220, 230 favorite as about a 3-1 underdog. And what we're going to do here is back Amanda Lemos to win inside the distance. It doesn't happen much in strawweights. About 1 out of 3 times does it end inside the distance historically. But I think this style looks like she could get it done because of the volume. 5.98 significant strikes, and the capable of 2.26 takedowns, 100% accuracy and defense. Again, those analytics look like she should be getting more finishes than she has. And I think we're getting a good price because she hasn't had as many as those kind of numbers should produce at plus 300. I love that bet. I bet her to win straight up, but I did sprinkle some of that inside the distance as well. I think that's a good price.
I like that a lot. And she does have a pretty high finishing rate, just hasn't quite translated to the UFC. So it does kind of feel like she's due for a finish. I like that a lot. All right. Now to the fights that we all want to talk about, the fights that we all want to probably put some money on. Let's talk about these 3 title fights. I'm going to ask you for your main event bet first.
In the 3 years I've been on UFC on the Line, and since I've been betting MMA, I've stuck to one rule. I haven't bet against Khabib Nurmagomedov, John Jones, Usman, and I haven't bet against Izzy Adesanya either. And that has really served me well. And I don't expect to get in front of him here. So for me, it's an Izzy or pass situation. I know the price is a little bit steep, But sometimes the guy, listen, he's worth it. Right now you could have laid minus 1,000 and he's still profitable. So at minus 220, 230, 250, what have you, I just think it's Izzy or pass. And again, I'm a Jan fan, and I know, unfortunately, I don't have the 205-pound data to really make that a best bet, but I can't get in front of Izzy. He's on a streak.
I got to tell you too, fight week, he has just been oozing confidence. I mean, he always does. He's one of those guys who has an aura about him when he walks in the room, but we're staying in the same hotel, and as I walk past his door, he always has his door open so that, his team can kind of be mulling and mulling. And I'm telling you, he is chilling. He is loving life, and he is ultra confident coming into this very, very interesting fight. I can't wait for that one. All right, let's talk about the co-main event, the greatest female fighter. I mean, unbelievable. Amanda Nunes taking on a very interesting prospect in Megan Anderson. I mean, it's a fascinating matchup. The odds are very, very far apart. Megan Anderson's the biggest dog on the card. But Yanni, I don't know about you, and I'm interested to hear your thoughts on this. She does have a very unique set of skills wrapped up in this very unique frame of hers. She is absolutely massive for this weight division, and I think there's a potential that she could possibly give Amanda Nunes a hard time. I'm not saying I think Amanda shouldn't be the favorite. She absolutely should be the favorite. But do you see some value on Megan Anderson?
You nailed it. And I'm just going to disclose it. I bet this fight. This is one of the fights I did bet. And I have Megan Anderson. I bet her at plus 750. I bet her again today at plus 600. I bet her inside the distance. And listen, This isn't a bet against Amanda Nunes at all. This is simply a bet against the market. We know Amanda's better than her pretty much everywhere. But real quickly, what does minus 1,000 mean? What does minus 1,250 means? I'll tell you what it means. Minus 1,250 means you have to win 93% of the time to break even. So you need at least a 5-10% margin to warrant placing a wager. So what are you telling me? Amanda Nunes is 100% guaranteed to win? That's the only way you could even place that bet. So for me, it's an easy bet to make. Again, usually when you bet these kind of underdogs, I say it all the time, the teller gives you the ticket ripped up because you're probably not going to come back to cash it. So they save you the time. But I think she's live. She's younger. She's bigger. I think she may have her in some strength too. If she could keep this standing up and maybe take it into round two, I don't know. I like Megan Anderson in this one. I like the price more than anything.
Absolutely. And finally, Aljamain Sterling versus Petr Yan. I mean, man, not very often do we get a true pick'em fight. So you'll have to correct me if that's no longer the case. But last time I looked, a true pick'em fight here, and it just doesn't happen very often in these championship bouts. It's so close. It's close in my mind as well. Who do you like here and why?
And that's what makes it difficult to me because I bet numbers. I don't bet teams. I don't bet fighters. I bet prices. And when Sterling was an underdog, I thought that was the right side. And the bookmakers had an advantage because this fight was canceled. So they already knew sharp bettors liked Sterling as an underdog. So when they reposted this number, they posted it at coin flip. So we don't get that value as Sterling is an underdog. Now Jan may be getting a little bit disrespected. I'm going to take the easy way out and give you I think the better bet on this fight. And it's over 3.5 rounds. Both these guys are durable. And even though they're capable of being finishers, they're both right around that bantamweight average. It's not as if they're, 60, 65% finishers in a weight class where 49% of the time they only finish. They're right around that 50% range. So I think there's value over 3.5. And I know it's the weakling way out of picking that fight, but I'd rather watch it and cheer for 5 rounds. Give me 5 rounds of this one, 25 minutes.
I hear you, man. Listen, I am so pumped for these fights. I'm even more pumped now. At some point, we're going to have to post your address so people can start sending you thank you notes for all the money that you're making them, Yanni. Thank you so much for taking the time. Exactly. Only when good things happen. Only when good things happen. I really appreciate you taking the time, Yanni. Thank you so much. And guys, these early prelims kick off at 5:15 p.m. Eastern on UFC Fight Pass as well as ESPN Plus. But stay right here for more quick hits presented by Howlerhead. We'll see you there.
people have to see when the legendary Polish power will fight against Nigerian speed. I believe when I catch him only once, it will be over, you know?
Jan Blachowicz has his hands full because he's dealing with a cerebral assassin, a guy that's not just going to scramble him physically, but mentally before I scramble him physically.
Oh! Knockdown for Adesanya. Costa trying to recover. That is it. Wow. Still undisputed.
I'm going to bring a fight to him that he's never seen before. I'm going to bring a fight of the brain, of the mind, fight IQ, and the speed and cadence he's never been used to.
I'm ready for that, and I prepare something nice for him. And I prove that my size, my power will be better than his speed.
Oh! Big left from Jan Blachowicz. He's hurt. Reyes in a world of trouble. Jan Blachowicz has done it.
I think that he do mistake, and I will send him back to his division.
A decisive finish over him will solidify my status as one of the best to ever do it.